what I have found being a solo practitioner is when you are against a rock and a hard place, right? Like you have your clients, maybe you're
Mhm.
settling up cases, you're closing engagements, and you're in desperate need of clients.
Yeah.
You want to go a cheap route, you want to go a quick route, and that is typically not what you should be doing.
Hello, everybody. It's Helen and Victoria from Blue 7 Content, and we're back. It's 2026.
2026.
Listen, 2026 has started out with a bang, y'all. We apologize for getting in late. We recorded last week. The recording didn't work. Of course not, because it's a new year. Why would it? So this is the first time you're getting us this year, and we apologize for making it so late. But on that note, we should have a video for you every week with a bunch of shorts in between there.
Yeah.
So, Victoria, we did a lot. We can briefly recap everybody. Spend a couple minutes recapping. We spent a great December. I went to Chicago. You came here to South Carolina. We did a lot of business things, a lot of business
Yep.
planning, and super positive. Anything to add there?
I mean, do you want us to talk about the list of
No,
services that we now offer?
not yet. That's next week's video, everybody. If y'all want to know what else we're doing, we have we're going to have a whole, like, here's what we do video for people who are just maybe kind of getting to know us, but also for people that have been working with us for a while. We have developed more products to offer our clients, and it's actually working out pretty well. So much so that we've been going crazy making sure it all goes very smoothly. So, without further ado, Victoria, today's
Yes.
topic. She doesn't know what this is. I love doing this to her. I want to talk about, and you'll know why I'm doing it, and we're going to do it without naming names. But if you are a company, if you're a law firm or a marketing agency, and you don't have the capability to handle your internal content, and this is common, we work with a lot of content agencies, we white label a lot, and you're looking for someone to help you with content. That is a scary thing because this is a tough industry and it's hard to get right because there's a lot of people out there that say they're legal content writers. What should they look for, and how do they know they're getting what they're supposed to get if they're just coming to somebody out of the blue and shopping around, not even coming to us, but just shopping around? What do they need to see and verify before they decide to let you pull the trigger?
So, are we asking if people are looking for content for their site or if they're looking for like a full stack agency?
No, just content. Like, back to our bread and butter. We
Right.
guys, we're expanding the definition of content, but we typically have written content, but it really can go to it can be any kind of content.
Well, we know that our idea and definition of content has just been expanding
Right.
beyond the text that is on your website and transforming it to other platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn, Thread X, TikTok, whatever that you wish, making that content visual, making it audible. So,
Mm-hmm.
I think the first thing first is when you are starting your kind of investigation, initiation into finding a content, SEO content company, I would steer clear of what I call, and what I think a lot of us know, whether this is the right term, just like the flashy agencies, the ones
Okay.
that have the gimmicky kind of sites, the ones that are like, we can get your results in 90 days. It tends to be
Guarantees.
guarantees. It tends to be really superficial. And typically, they are there to kind of hook you in and then make you pay a lot. So, those are, it's really enticing. What I have found being a solo practitioner is when you are against a rock and a hard place, right? Like you have your clients, maybe you're
Mm-hmm.
settling up cases, you're closing engagements, and you're in desperate need of clients.
Yeah.
You want to go a cheap route, you want to go a quick route, and that is typically not what you should be doing. One, you should be doing this way early before your clients' engagements are running out. However, if you're stuck in that place, I definitely would aim for the agency that is really transparent, can show you results, not just tell you what they can do. and also can provide you with actual examples of what their content
Mm,
looks like. And I wrote this on a LinkedIn post. If you get the ick, just move on.
yeah.
If you
Yep.
get the ick, just move on. And whether or not that's a good barometer, people have opinions. But if you're not jiving with the person out the gate, then you're probably not going to jive with them later on.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of this business and like our success has to do with our relationships that we build with our own team and with our clients. I want to ask you this. Now, this really depends on where you are in the legal industry and how, because some lawyers are very into the legal marketing side, some are not, some are in
Yeah.
our world on LinkedIn. We know which ones are really into legal marketing. They probably know where to go. Because again, on my LinkedIn post, I posted that this is a very fairly small industry. Once if you're looking for just the reputable people, we
Correct.
all kind of know each other, and you see the same names come up again and again, year after year. The good tends to work with the good. So tap into your referral network. Don't maybe don't ask your marketing agency because they're just going to say, well, we can do that for you.
Yeah.
But ask around. That's how we live and die off referrals here at Blue Seven. We have been a referral only company for a very long time. It's worked out great. It's awesome. But people refer to us and we get a lot of clients that way. But sometimes people cold call and reach out. And I'm thinking of a recent, and this is kind of where this conversation started. A recent conversation we had with somebody. Again, names will be out for now. I'll let everybody else do their own detective work. But um, someone wanted us and inquired about content. Normal conversation we have a couple times a week with different people, law firms, marketing agencies. This was someone that would probably need a decent chunk of content, but they start off the gate and said, hey, we work with this content provider company. Their selling point is they're all lawyers and they write all the content. Perfectly valid thing to ask and talk about to us about because we are an attorney driven company. We don't have attorneys writing all of our content because it's not necessary. But we did I mean, that's a good thing. If they do it, they do it. That is a good selling point.
Yes.
So we did a little digging and there were some things that threw up some red flags on this website. For one, it's very outdated. There were a lot of names of people on their list that you and I know. Um, that as writers, you reached out to a few. One of them used to work with us, and she left us because she wanted a little more pay. Very reasonable. But they're charging their clients less than what we are paying our writers. So there's something in my head that sent off an alarm.
Yeah.
Then I looked at their LinkedIn and they have writers on there that don't have JDs.
Yeah.
So I got a little more curious. Hit up our internal group Slack chat. Well, one of our writers used to write for this company, mentioned how horrible it was, but he does not have a JD.
Yeah.
So all of this over the last few weeks, some people saw our post, some people wanted us to name names. We've landed on that we're going to let them fall on themselves. You did reach out to a writer that
Well,
was on there, right?
here's the thing. Here's why dropping names doesn't even matter. One, because if you are someone who is looking for a cheap route, you're not going to care who is writing for you.
That's true.
And you're not going to care what the results are because you're just looking for words on a page. So I think that's just like a clear point I want to make, like why it doesn't matter to drop names because it really is just about like, what are you looking for? And if again, it's that ick, right? If you know that things sound too good to be true, if you know that like things aren't adding up, it's your choice at that point to engage
Yeah.
with that business. It just is. And, I'm not saying that I haven't been duped before. I'm currently struggling with a situation that I'm in which I feel like I entered a program. I thought it was going to be, I wouldn't say life changing because that's a lot, but I thought there was going to be way more mentorship one on one and there just
Mm,
isn't. And so I'm kind of struggling with that decision and I'm locked in for a year.
mm.
So I think
So
that's
you know how
another
that feels.
I do know how that feels, and I think that's another kind of warning sign is, people are gonna say, "This is you gotta be locked in for a year," kind of like a gym membership, and even gyms are catching on to this, like, no one wants to be locked in. It builds
Yeah.
resentment, it builds bad tastes in mouths, like, it just doesn't. And honestly, if I'm dealing with a client and they become dissatisfied for whatever reason, I want to cut them off. I want to let them go. So that's my little mini rant about having long-term contracts. But this particular
Well,
situation that you're referring to is com not complicated, but is frustrating for multiple reasons. One is they are I consider it predatory, telling people, that lawyers are writing when they're not, falsely saying, hey, I mean, I don't even know if they're falsely saying. I don't that site is so old. I don't even think they care
I've
if
reached
they
out
like.
to both people who are listed as editors, and I reached out to the person that you found out was the editor of the site, and we have heard nothing back. We've tried.
Yeah.
We have very much tried to get a hold and figure out what's going on here before we even brought it to the greater universe.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, we come across this all the time. I mean, we do. Like this one a little more just because we're like, "Oh, dang, like we actually have some connection." But we come across these types of companies, quote unquote, all the time. Like they're there to make money, and that is it. And
Yeah, and I
people
think
fall
when you and
for
I
that.
started this company, we didn't even have a business plan in mind, so making money was we were like, "You will do that one day, right?" So, it does that, and I say that because it feels like some of these SEO or content companies are set up for profit first, deliverables second, and it shows.
Yes.
I think, to answer the original question, we'll wrap it up. We won't take a whole lot of y'all's time because we know this is probably gonna get some conversation going anyway, and it probably lead to some battles we're not ready for. But
Yeah,
if you're
not at
looking
all.
for a content provider, what we want you to do is talk to your network and see if you have names that come up over and over again or people that you have seen consistent. Look at their websites. See if their people are on LinkedIn and consistent and real. You can kind of get a vibe from somebody you're thinking about working with. Beyond that, never sign any kind of long-term contract. There's no reason for that. We don't make you do it. But on that note, do some trial pages first. And here's why. If you don't do a couple, not just one, not just two, do two or three. Get some back and forth going because the first pieces aren't going to be perfect on everybody. There is always going to be back and forth. You want to at least know you're getting someone who you'll know after those couple pieces whether you can work with this group or not pretty quickly. So that's my advice. And then you think about a long-term engagement with somebody because you
Yep.
do want a team you want to get to know somebody, you want to work with somebody over time that can really get you and your style down, but you want to make the right decision first. So do a little bit of the legwork first. Uh, find out who you're working with, get those trial pieces, and then be comfortable from that point forward. Open communication. If you can't find anybody that works for that group, or if you're having trouble getting a hold of somebody, that's a bad sign. Any other red flags people should watch out for, Victoria?
I mean, it just there is a little bit of authentication process on your part as the person, needing the product. You do just like when you scroll through Instagram and Facebook and you see all these, oh, that's a cute shirt. Let me go to this
Mm,
website. And it's usually just a scam.
yeah,
It's a false website. They
drop
capture your
shipping some cheap things.
information. Yeah, I mean, that's it. So you have to be extra vigilant, unfortunately. And you have to do some kind of rooting around and see who is working with who. Where is your stuff really coming from? How do you know it's performing? And I think this is a separate video, but I'll just leave this here. Softwares that you're using that are housing maybe client information or, CRMs that you're using will pitch their marketing, and it makes so much sense because you're like, "Yeah, let's do it all in one
All
place."
in-house, yeah.
However, there's a cautionary tale there that we see too many times. This one client that we're working with, they hired us to provide content and in addition to what their CRM was providing, and we were able to control what we were doing, and we noticed, like, why is like nothing is moving this needle. We did a deeper dive and we realized there's a lot of errors going on that end,
Yeah, it had nothing to do
and
with us.
nothing to do with us. And so now this client is like, wait, what? Like, now they
They'd been
have
a
to talk
year
to
into their
them,
business and didn't even know.
and we're still waiting to see what that result is. I don't know if they've been able to get a hold of someone. I don't know if they've been able to get into that because typically these CRMs then hire third parties
Of
to
course they
do
do.
this other stuff.
And it's
And
probably
that's
not a legal
okay to
content
hire
writer.
third parties. we're a vendor that we want people to hire, but there's a
Yeah.
vetting process that's there too. So this may be getting too into the weeds, right? It's for a different video. But when you start looking for places, for people, for agencies and things, it is good to start asking other, particularly speaking to attorneys, talking to other attorneys who they're using. If you see something, hit them up on LinkedIn, right?
If you see
Ask
someone's
around.
website that you like and the content coming out of a competitor or someone's law firm, not even competitor. I look at Victoria has a estate planning law firm. There's a guy that has a law firm in DC, Virginia, and Florida. I love his website and I always go to it for inspiration. Thanks, Charlie, man. You gave me the name of Kevin. But it's a great site. And if you see stuff like that, go find out who's doing their content. Because you can
Yeah.
get those people too. You know,
Yes.
we do a lot of content for law firms and marketing agencies. There's a good chance you'll find out a piece that you like was written by us, and we're here, but you might not know because I might not tell you. But okay,
They're not going to tell you
y'all,
anyway.
that's all we have for you today. We're going to be at you once a week. It's a busy year. Victoria and I are very scheduled out this year. So that should be a good thing too. So I really appreciate it, everybody. If y'all want to talk about this, link,
Subscribe.
like and subscribe, but also comment on this one because I'm curious if you've run into any similar situations you found out after the fact that one of your vendors wasn't, didn't have the credentials that they said they did. It's interesting. It's out there. We want to talk about it. Everybody, have a wonderful afternoon and peace.